Souls here. Today, I will be doing What If Deku had Loki from Persona 5. If you guys don't know what Loki is, it's a creature that a character named Akechi has. If you don't know who Loki is, just go search him up. It's a cool character. It's a cool creature. I'll be in this story. Deku, he's gonna be normal as kid. And he's gonna be born. Instead of having green hair, he's gonna be having brown hair. And he is gonna be the son of All Might. But we all know where this is going. He's gonna have a twin sister. Yeah, he's gonna have a twin sister. But he's gonna be older by just about like an hour or so. So their hair is brown. And they have red eyes, or Inko does have red eyes and brown hair. So we get that Akechi looking. So if we do a little time skip, Deku had a pretty normal life, being with his dad for not for long though. His sister, he had fun with her for the past coming years until the age of 4, where they go to the quirk doctor. In the quirk doctor, they find out that Izumi has a powerful enhancement and telekinesis quirk. Yeah. All Might and Inko are pretty happy about this, and they want to know what Deku's quirk was. But then the doctor told them, "I'm sorry, ma'am. Your son, Izuku Midoriya, is quirkless. He has an extra joint in his toe, pinky toe. So he will not be developing a quirk." That single phrase would destroy Deku. And something inside of him would start lighting up. A small ember of the rebellion inside of him. As the next day, where Izuku and Izumi, her sister's name, go to kindergarten, where Izumi tells her about her powerful telekinesis and enhancement. Not as strong as One for All, but her full potential will be around 25% All Might in his weakened form. Yes, we can know that Deku's gonna be overpowered in this one. So when it gets to Deku's turn, he tells them that he's quirkless. Bakugo, being a little bit more meaner, would say, "Nerd, you're just as useless. You're just a quirkless nobody." And then you would start bullying him, along with the entire class, including his sister. Because Baku and Izumi, they have a similar mindset, as we could say. They both hate quirkless people, as you may know. But Deku's little ember has been growing bigger and bigger with each day, slowly but surely. His ember slowly starts making him lose his faith in his parents, who started neglecting him barely doing anything for him. At that point, Deku has had. Oh yeah, and this is after like 2 years of this happening. Bakugo has gotten a bit more aggressive towards Deku and Izumi as well. All Might and Inko have not talked to him in the slightest. While in this meantime, Deku trained his body over the coming years, and he has around a half build of Mirio. The half build of Mirio, so he's not buff to Mirio's standpoint, but half of his buffness. So when one day Bakugo and his goons, along with Zumi, follow Deku. When they when they followed him, they were going over. The Deku was walking over a railing, or on the side of a railing that led to the forest. The goons came up and started to bully Deku. Well, in the midst of that, a bully got an idea. How about we throw the quirkless loser over the railing and into the forest? Everyone thought it was a good idea. Because quirks are a necessity in this world. Because you were either born powerful or born weak. Just how the way this world works. So, Bakugo, Izumi, and the goons grab Deku and throw him over the edge. While that happens, the flame that has been inside of him has grown and grown and grown. When Deku lands on the forest floor, he gets knocked out for a bit. For a couple hours. Once he wakes up, he doesn't know where he is. He starts walking around the forest. He finds a way back up onto the road again. Starts walking until he sees Izumi and All Might talking. He's saying, Izumi and All Might were talking about One for All, and how that All Might wants to give him his quirk. Yes, she finds Izumi compatible with a hero's heart. And while Izumi, under all that bullying, did care for her brother, she just didn't want him to become a hero because she thought he would die. So she's contemplating whether she should get One for All or not. So then Izumi asks, why don't you give it to Izuku? He needs it more than I do. All Might would be like, nonsense. He doesn't have the heart of a hero. If not, he's just a loser, then he doesn't deserve anything. Deku would be around the corner listening on this. He would break. His father as the #1 hero, and everything around him has shattered into millions of pieces, and the flame of rebellion that's inside of him has gone to its peak. I am thou, thou art I. Thou hast unleashed a new vow. I am Loki, a part of the Fool Arcana. Use me as you wish, and say my name, as Deku would say, persona. As he would summon Loki, the person that is on the picture, full of black and white stripes, full of dark intent and horns of a devil. Deku would go home. He would walk right past his sister and his parents. He would grab all the necessary things and leave. The sludge villain never happened because All Might took care of him, and with no Deku grabbing onto him, no sludge villain getting out, no Deku meets All Might in this. He's not gonna want for all his sisters. Deku, he grabbed a backpack and put only some clothes and a blanket and some extra things, like food and water. He would crawl out of his window and leave. He would write a note and saying, I don't know why you even had a son to begin with. Why do you treat me like this? All you've done is brought suffering to my life, and I want nothing to be a part of you now. And that was why I left. As a couple hours later, Deku is somewhere in an abandoned building. It's a pretty nice building. It's abandoned. It's on the more lonely side of the town, where he has put all his things down. He has his little room with a working door and light. Even though it's abandoned, it still has some power. So Deku, he calls this his home for now, till he finds a better one. You would start trying to find a place where you could train with Loki, as he would see a subway where it's all red, and yes, I am bringing mementos into here. As Deku would go down in some rather nice clothes, he's not gonna get the costume yet until he joins UA. Or should I make him join UA? I'm gonna say he's a villain in this one. But he's gonna be a villain until halfway. He's gonna be a villain for halfway, and then he's gonna get some redemption. Deku would find mementos. He would go inside and see all these weird creatures. You would see that there's some instructions on mementos. It says, a place where monsters rule free from the people's desires and wishes. As Deku would see this as a good place to train Loki and level him up. Because at this current point, Loki's already around level 10. By the end of in the 10 months of training, Loki is going to be at level 35. So they start, Deku starts training with Loki in mementos, killing monsters for a couple hours, then he would go back up to the surface. And people would be wondering, where did he just come from? Because he just appeared out of thin air. Then you would realize that on his phone it is a red app. A red app where he can go into a mementos anytime he wants. There's no palaces, just mementos for training and grinding experience and items. So Deku will go back home as we cut earlier to a couple days earlier, but when Izumi and All Might and Ingo kind of wondered whatever happened to Izuku. And Izumi, she wanted to talk to Deku for the first time in forever. So Deku would. So she would knock on the door and say, "Hey, Izuku, can I talk to you for a moment?" And she would get no response. She would continue knocking on the door until she says, "Izuku, I know what I did was wrong, but can I apologize for at least something?" She would get no answer still. So she would open the door and see the place, his room has been left. In nothing is left except the bed, and just a bed without sheets or blankets or pillows. Everything's gone. The computer, the chair, not the chair. Just everything's gone. So she would run downstairs and say, "Izuku has ran away." All Might and Ego would be surprised, and they would check on Izuku. Still not there, but they would see a note saying, "Why'd you leave me? Why'd you give me a purpose in this life if you just wanted me to suffer?" They would realize that they just been neglecting their son for the past years, and they would send out a search party for Deku. All Might being like, "Oh, I'm such an idiot. I've been neglecting my son for all these years, and I haven't done anything to make up for that." Nico would just be crying, saying, "I'm such a horrible mother." Which she is. Candy Nico's sweet mama. This one, not so much. Not much. We see, as we come back to Izuku's point of view, as Deku has been going out, not being a good person, being more like a catchy from Persona, being the nice guy, and then having that facade of being a nice guy, and then once he removes his facade, he's psychopathic. He's killing people, mostly villains, and so that he can gain some experience and level Loki up and see how the world is. He has more of a staying point of view on life, on the hero society. He's like a vigilante, actually. Deku would just be having some black clothes, a mask, and a hoodie on, while he summons out Loki to kill the villains. Well, in the meantime, a hero saw, let's just say it was Racerhead Aizawa. Deku, as Aizawa would be jumping from rooftop to rooftop and spot Deku and Loki, but he doesn't see Deku because he's covered up in black clothes. All he would see is Loki in his black, white, and red form, just ripping the villains to shreds with his sword. Keep doing Lavaton. That does a downwards motion slash on the villains, cutting them in half. Deku would be smiling under the mask, finally getting some stress that's built up over the years off his chest. He would continue to kill the group of villains, as Aizawa would be looking at him, as then he would finally snap out of his looking on this strange person, as he would jump down and say, "Halt there, vigilante. You're under arrest for using your quirk without a license and doing hero work without a license as well." As Deku would give no response, and he will always say is Loki. That knock him out. Deku knows who Aizawa is, and he likes Aizawa for most of the time, because he was the only one that when All Might invited him over for sometimes to just hang out, you would know Aizawa. That was the only person that he actually cared for. Therefore, hence why Loki is just gonna knock him out by using debilitate and just lower his attack, accuracy, and defense, so Deku just knocks Aizawa out. And as Deku would leave, and go back home to the abandoned building, as he would continue doing this for the past coming 10 months. As Izumi, on the other hand, has been working on Daiwa Beach with All Might Fierce. She accepted now that her brother is gone, and she has guilt that it was her fault for leaving her brother and doing all those horrible things to him. So that happened while Deku just continued to kill villains for the past 10 months. Deku's not going to join UA until the USJ. So Deku just continued to train, work on his body, and Loki. Loki is now level 35. As Deku would now have a job at a cafe. He would be working there as an employee, working for a bit of money so he can get an apartment. He would finish his shift there, go back home, work with Loki and kill, gain him some experience. Repeat this over and over again, and until the UA exchange exams, and that is where I'm gonna be leaving it off. I hope you guys enjoyed my first part of What If Deku had Loki persona.